Recent research on brain neuroplasticity conducted by the National Institutes of Health has led to a significant discovery. Scientists have found that individuals who have successfully overcome emotional trauma exhibit strengthened neural connections in brain regions responsible for emotional regulation and decision-making. These changes are directly linked to increased psychological resilience and the ability to cope with stress. This is the Nucleus Animi project, where we delve into the depths of the human psyche and help turn psychological knowledge into practical tools for a better life. Today, we're going to discuss how to transform emotional pain into a source of inner strength. This episode will be especially beneficial for those currently going through a tough time or helping loved ones cope with emotional challenges. We'll explore scientifically backed methods for transforming suffering into personal growth and share practical tools you can start using today. If you're interested in the topic of emotional intelligence and personal growth, subscribe to our channel and like this video. It helps us create more quality content about psychology and self-development. The nature of emotional pain is paradoxical. On one hand, it's one of the most challenging human experiences. On the other, it often becomes a catalyst for profound personal change. According to the World Health Organization, emotional crises are a universal human experience that everyone navigates in their own unique way. When we talk about emotional pain, it's important to understand the complex neurobiological nature of this phenomenon. Research from the National Institutes of Health shows that emotional pain activates numerous brain structures. Primarily, this involves the limbic system, which includes the amygdala and hippocampus, responsible for processing emotions and forming memories. Interestingly, these same areas are activated during physical pain, which explains why emotional traumas can feel almost physical. Scientific studies in neuroimaging have allowed for a detailed examination of how the brain processes emotional pain. Using functional magnetic resonance imaging, scientists observed that during emotional pain, a network of brain structures is activated, including the anterior cingulate cortex, which acts as a sort of conflict detector, helping us become aware of and regulate our emotional reactions. The interaction between different parts of the brain plays a particularly important role. Studies show that successfully overcoming emotional pain is associated with strengthened connections between the prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational thinking, and the limbic system, which manages emotions. This dialogue between different brain regions forms the foundation for developing emotional resilience. One of the most documented examples of transforming suffering into strength is the story of Viktor Frankl, a world-renowned psychiatrist and author of Man's Search for Meaning. In his works based on his personal experience in a concentration camp, Frankl notes that survival was not just about physical strength, but finding meaning in suffering. His famous quote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how," underpins his method of logotherapy. From a biological perspective, emotional pain is not just a byproduct of our ability to feel. According to modern scientific data, it's a complex adaptive mechanism developed through evolution for our survival and growth. Research in neurobiology shows that a moderate level of stress and emotional tension can stimulate the production of important neurotransmitters, including brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, which promotes the formation of new neural connections and increases brain plasticity. As studies conducted under the National Institutes of Health show, the process of neuroplasticity is especially active in the hippocampus, a critical area for learning and forming new memories. It is here that the transformation of emotional pain into new neural patterns occurs, which can make us psychologically stronger. How does this work in practice? Imagine the immune system. After encountering a pathogen, it doesn't just return to its original state, but becomes stronger, creating antibodies and immunological memory. Similarly, our psyche works in the same way. Properly processed emotional pain can create a sort of psychological immunity, increased resilience to future life challenges. Research by the American Psychological Association confirms that people who have successfully overcome emotional crises often demonstrate higher levels of empathy, emotional intelligence, and the ability to make complex decisions. In fact, experienced and integrated emotional pain becomes a sort of vaccine, enhancing our psychological resilience. Now let's delve deeper into how the transformation of pain into strength occurs on a neurobiological level. Research shows that this process involves several key stages. Initially, the sympathetic nervous system is activated, our fight-or-flight mechanism, triggering a cascade of stress reactions. However, with proper support and the use of appropriate techniques, the body gradually shifts to the parasympathetic nervous system, responsible for recovery and regeneration. The vagus nerve, the main nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system, plays a special role in this process. Research shows that its activation helps reduce inflammation in the body and improve emotional regulation. This is why deep breathing and meditation techniques, which activate the vagus nerve, often become effective tools in working with emotional pain. To activate the vagus nerve and improve emotional regulation, there are specific exercises whose effectiveness has been confirmed by research. One of them is the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Inhale for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 7, exhale for a count of 8. This breathing pattern helps quickly calm the nervous system and reduce stress levels. Another effective exercise is the grounding technique, where you consciously focus on physical sensations in your body, helping to regain a sense of control and safety. An interesting perspective on this process can be found in Nassim Taleb's book, Anti-Fragile. The author develops the concept of anti-fragility, the property of systems to become stronger under stress and uncertainty. This idea perfectly illustrates the mechanism of transforming emotional pain into strength. You'll find a link to this fascinating book and other useful resources in the video description. The World Health Organization highlights several key factors that influence the successful overcoming of emotional crises. These include social support, access to professional help, the development of emotional regulation skills, and the ability to find meaning in the experienced situation. The role of mental health professionals is particularly important, as they can help guide individuals through this process most effectively and safely. Various approaches are used in modern psychotherapeutic practice to work with emotional pain. Cognitive behavioral therapy helps change unproductive thought patterns and behaviors. Acceptance and commitment therapy teaches finding a balance between accepting difficult emotions and taking active steps to improve life. Dialectical behavior therapy develops skills for emotional regulation and interpersonal effectiveness. The WHO has developed specific guidelines for choosing professional support. It's important to consider the specialist qualifications, experience with similar issues, the methods of therapy they use, and their access to professional supervision. Effective therapeutic work should include both short-term strategies for symptom relief and long-term plans for building stress resilience. When choosing a therapist, consider the following criteria. The specialist's approach aligns with your needs and values. Experience working with similar issues. Willingness to explain their approach and methods. Regular professional development. Adherence to professional ethical standards. The process of transforming pain into strength in modern psychology is called post-traumatic growth. It's not just a return to the previous state after trauma, but a qualitative change in personality. Research by the American Psychological Association highlights several key aspects of such growth. Deepening self-understanding, reevaluating life priorities, developing empathy, discovering new possibilities, enriching spiritual experience. We'd love to hear your experiences in the comments. Have you encountered situations where emotional pain led to positive changes in your life? Your stories can be a source of support and inspiration for other viewers of our channel. Now let's take a closer look at practical techniques for working with emotional pain. The American Psychiatric Association recommends a comprehensive approach, including several levels of work. 1. Practice mindful acceptance. Start with a simple, safe place exercise. Find a comfortable position, take a few deep breaths, and imagine a place where you feel calm and safe. From this position, observe your emotions without trying to change them. Gradually increase your practice time from 5 to 20 minutes. 2. Reframing technique. Use the letter to future self method. Write a letter from yourself a year from now, describing how you overcame current difficulties and what they taught you. This helps you see the situation in a broader perspective and find constructive meaning in it. 3. Active coping method. Start by creating a resource map. List all available sources of support, people, activities, places, and plan regular engagement with them. Create a step-by-step action plan, breaking down large tasks into small, achievable steps. Another effective method is described in the book Option B by Sheryl Sandberg and Adam Grant. The authors propose the 3 good things technique. Each evening, write down 3 positive events of the day, even the smallest ones. This helps retrain the brain to look for positive aspects of life, even during challenging times. A link to this book will also be in the description. It's important to remember that working with emotional pain is a process that requires time and patience. Research shows that regular practice of these techniques over 8 to 12 weeks leads to noticeable changes in emotional regulation. The ancient Greeks told a parable about a blacksmith and a sword. A young apprentice asked the master why the best swords go through the strongest fire and numerous hammer blows. The blacksmith replied, "What doesn't destroy the metal makes it stronger. Each strike and each immersion in fire not only changes the sword's shape, they change its essence, turning ordinary iron into Damascus steel." This ancient wisdom finds confirmation in modern scientific studies of post-traumatic growth. Modern neuroimaging methods used in National Institutes of Health laboratories have led to an important discovery. People who have constructively navigated emotional crises form new neural pathways, connecting the centers of emotion with areas of analytical thinking. This creates more effective bridges between feelings and reason, allowing individuals to better understand themselves and others. Of particular interest is the increased activity in the orbitofrontal cortex, an area of the brain responsible for emotion regulation and social behavior. These changes help respond more flexibly to life's challenges and find constructive solutions in difficult situations. Such individuals who have gone through serious emotional trials and manage to process them constructively often demonstrate higher levels of emotional awareness, empathy, psychological flexibility, life wisdom. However, it's important to understand that the transformation of suffering into wisdom is not an automatic process. It's more like an art, requiring a conscious approach and a willingness to learn from one's experiences. Resilience research shows that the key factor here is not so much the intensity of the pain experienced, but our attitude toward it and our ability to learn from difficult situations. In conclusion, let's highlight the key points of transforming emotional pain into strength. First, it's important to remember that emotional pain is not just an unpleasant experience, but a potential source of growth and development. Neuroplasticity research shows the amazing ability of our brains not just to recover from trauma, but to become stronger. Second, this process requires active participation. By using scientifically proven techniques and methods we've discussed, we can channel the energy of pain into constructive personal growth. Third, don't go through this journey alone. Support from loved ones and, if necessary, professional help can make the transformation process more effective and less painful. If you found this video helpful, support our channel by subscribing and liking. It helps us continue creating quality content about psychology and personal development. Our channel has many other interesting videos on various aspects of psychological health and personal growth. Be sure to check them out too. Thank you for being with us. Take care of yourself and remember, in every challenge lies the opportunity to become stronger.